got to link up with some of my ex-coworkers and everything, so it's been a blast, but it's an honor to culminate this week. I'm impressed. I mean, look how many ropes are in this room. But I gotta tell you, I'm not surprised. I mean, it just speaks to the caliber of airmen that we have in our Air Force, and it speaks to the caliber of airmen that we expect in our AFSC. And so I'm not shocked to see the amount of ropes that we have in this room. Back in the day, I was a red rope and a black rope here at Keesler as well too. But with that, you know, I do think it's important to recognize all of our airmen, right? Like we talked yesterday, not all of you will be, you know, that stellar troop maybe that earns a rope, but it doesn't mean you're not performing for the United States Air Force, right? Maybe it's just the way cookie crumbles. Like, it's not a everybody gets a trophy kind of world, right? But with that, we have a lot of airmen out there doing great things. And so I want to recognize Airman Blanchard. Come on up, sir. And so it's only fitting, my very first coin given out is at tech school. And I'm dead serious too. Mr. Sear, now retired, Master Sergeant Sear, actually just gave me my coins a little while ago. So just relax. So I haven't had a chance to give this to an airman yet. And so it's only fitting that I'm giving it to one of the newest airmen in our AFSC. So I'm excited what you're going to bring to this Air Force. Hopefully you're excited about the challenge and opportunity of what the Air Force is going to provide you. But on this coin, you'll notice that it says Airman First, PMEL Always. And I want you to always remember that. Everybody in this room is an airman, including our civilian employees as well too, right? So we're all airmen first and our specialty second. So that means whatever the Air Force needs of you and asks of you, you need to be ready to execute, okay? And from what I understand, that's exactly who you are. You're not always the loud spokesperson, but you're that silent assassin. And in our laboratories, you're going to meet a lot of people like you that aren't out there in the limelight. Me and the commander were joking around about our 4 walls of PMEL where we don't usually leave, right? But at the end of the day, there's a lot of great people doing some great work behind those doors, okay? And so continue what you've been doing, and I guarantee you'll have nothing but success. Congratulations.
Next, we would like the Commander to return to present the 2021 Fourth Quarter Civilian of the Quarter Award.
Mr. Thomas Daniels. Mr. Daniels also earned his, what, 40-year pin. He's working on his next year pin. For those of you who don't know, civilians every 10 years they earn a pin, and they can wear the pin. After the first 10 years, they wear that 10-year pin. Mr. Daniels has been in civil service for 40 years. That is older than me.
Thank you.
And you look great.
I appreciate that.
After all those years of civil service, I appreciate your hard work and efforts in the 335th Training Squadron here at PMEL, and this great plaque for you to hang on your wall and enjoy. All right. I guess we got some photos.
Yep. Thank you for being recognized.
Yeah, thank you.
And finally, a letter of appreciation for Technical Sergeant Mayer.
All right. So, Sergeant Mahari, front and center. So as he's walking up here, I'm going to read this to you. It's fairly short. This is from Lieutenant Colonel Matthew J. Hopkins, 334th Training Squadron Commander. I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the excellent work of Sergeant Mahari as the roaming PTL for the A1C Antoine Holt Memorial 5K Run Walk. Sergeant Mahari displayed a great professionalism, dedication, in the execution of a wing-wide event. His diligent efforts ensured the health and safety of over 2,000 runners. I wanted to express my gratitude for Sergeant Mahari's hard work and dedication in support of the 8th annual 5K. His actions reflected credit to himself, the 335th Training Squadron, and the United States Air Force. So, congratulations. Big letter of appreciation. And the photo. The photo guy didn't show up. Everyone here is learning about PMEL. Our instructors are also volunteering. The volunteer mentality it doesn't stop, right? It starts here and it grows throughout your career. And it really, the people that Sergeant Mahari met during that experience are now in his circle of his network. And when he needs those folks, he's got a personal connection now, and it grows the empire. It also gets PMEL. Get your PMEL patch out there and get it exposed. Make people ask, what's that? And you can tell them it's equipment calibration. So, what's next on the agenda?
afternoon and welcome to the graduation ceremony for class number 22006. I'm Staff Sergeant Lippy and will be the MC for today's event. We'd like to start by introducing our host and guest, which we're honored to have with us today. Director of Operations, 335th Training Squadron, Major Powers. Instructor, Metrology Training Flight, 335th Training Squadron, Mr. William Clay. We'd also like to welcome the Commander of the 335th Training Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Proctor. 335th TRS Command Team. And finally, the family and friends of our graduates in attendance today. The Basic Precision Measurement Equipment Laboratory, or PMEL, course is one of the most challenging technical courses in the military. By completing this course, they have achieved a major accomplishment which consisted of over 743 training hours, a total of 83 academic days, culminating in earning 32 credit hours in the Community College of the Air Force. The lessons learned here will stay with them throughout their careers. In keeping with the PMEL schoolhouse tradition, I would like to invite the guest speaker chosen by the graduating class, Mr. Clay, to give a few words.
Everybody take a deep breath. Okay, now I feel better. No, I went around and I said I was doing background on the speech for these nerds, which I affectionately call all of my students. So if you're not one of them, you haven't been one of my students, you haven't been called a nerd by me yet. But I asked Mr. Roundtree if he had anything for them. And he had one for one airman, but he had one for the whole class as a whole. He said, if the class above you set the bar so low, you guys have become the new limbo champions of PMEL. Which is ironic because you have the highest average since the course was rewritten, I think. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. I just work here. So I got something for a little bit of all of you. Al Jahani, they moved you to the wrong spot. You were supposed to be first, but okay. I have a sign that I have all of my students sign. So again, if I haven't called you a nerd, you haven't signed my flag. So maybe not. I don't know. But Al Jahani signed my flag. Al Jahani was here. So I guess we are who we are. Hold on. So I guess we are who we are for a lot of reasons, and maybe we'll never know most of them. You were my first international student. You're the first international student in 2 years, Mr. Hall. So thank you for that. You showed me a lot of things that I didn't know. You showed me how to get away with being late. I'm kidding. He had one time. It's good. We all covered it. But thank you for everything you told me.
Thank you.
Bale signed my flag, fixed my board, because Bale's job in my class was to make sure my board was up to date. So if I got inspected, my board was good. That's how he signed my flag. So, Bale was also very quiet. Words I have for you: silence is true wisdom's best reply. Because you never said anything. Hardly ever. Airman Blanchard. You waited this long, you can wait a little bit longer. Airman Corcoran. I have an assignment for all of my students that first 20-30 minutes of class, I ask them to bring in current events. Airman Corcoran's current event every day, without fail: Mississippi Man, or Biloxi, or Mississippi, or Biloxi. So, the quote that I found for Mississippi, I don't want to do because I don't want Mr. Roundtree mad at me for his comment about raccoons that I'm still mad at him about. But someone also says you do a great Kronk impression. So maybe you can translate. Squeaky, squeaker, squeaking. Good? Okay. Airman Hutchins. Batman impression? No? No? Airman Hutchins signed my flag, OSI Special Agent Hutchins, and still argues with me that she's not impersonating anyone because she has power of attorney, which I informed her, my flag is not a legal binding document. It doesn't apply to power of attorney. But the one I have for you, When we no longer are able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves, which I thought was fitting for you because you had so much critiques about everything that I've taught you. Everything that I've taught you. Aaron McLaughlin, Mr. Roundtree said tell you roll tide. But again, I had the assignment, bring a current event, and every day without fail, Aaron McLaughlin's was crime. She went from coast to coast every morning. This happened here, this happened here. Her reoccurring theme was crimes. So, if being awesome was a crime, you'd be serving a life sentence. Meilinger, my other student of few words. Fewer words than Bell. The only one I had for you was Akuna Matata. Utsumi. Utsumi, find my flag. I am speed. Because one day in class, I'm not kidding, he had on his desktop a click counter. And it was up to 13,000. And I came back and looked at it a little bit later and it was up to 17,000. But he always paid attention to my lectures. It was weird. Like he was focusing on clicking 17,000 times, but he still managed to pass all of his exams. So, there is no speed limits on the road to success. Aaron Wittenberg. Aaron Wittenberg was the first student in his class, so I have this thing in the schoolhouse. It's a task that Mr. Hall has given me, because I took it upon myself, but then he assigned it to me. I do what I call CAC audits. I go around to their tough books to make sure they have not left their IDs unattended. And they always accuse me of stealing their IDs. To which I reply, no, I didn't steal it. I secured it because you left it unattended. But from day one, who was your Block 1 instructor? Sergeant Williams and Sergeant who? And from day one, they told you, Mr. Clay's looking for IDs. You made it all the way to what block before you lost your ID?
6.
Block 6. How was your weekend CQ? You didn't have one? Oh, Sergeant Lamont? Weekend CQ.
Oh, no, chill.
So he was the first one in his class, and then the rest of his class felt a little bit less pressure to be the first one. There were a couple of other ones who left him. Some of them had a very bad day and just banged his head on the desk when I took his ID. But he made it. And then 2 days ago, Block 16, 2 days from their graduation, who but Airman Wittenberg leaves his ID in his computer again. Sergeant Lamont, we can see you. No. How many 341s did you have? How many do you have right now? On you right now? Or are they downstairs in your OCPs? 5?
At least he's honest.
No. Do you remember what you signed my flag?
Why are you standing with a tone of voice?
Yes. I would always ask him, why are you looking at me in that tone of voice? So the quote that I found for you was, the tongue can paint what the eyes can't see. That's why I was always looking at you in that tone of voice. Are you ready? Are you sure? You waited long enough now, right? So close. So close. Blanchard, Airman Blanchard has been in the Air Force almost longer than I have. That's not true. But he's been in the Air Force so long, he's testing for staff next week, and he's retiring the week after that because he's almost done his 20 years. The bad news is, time flies. The good news is, you're a pilot. So, and then I'll leave you with the light note that I gave you earlier as my practice speech. You could have done better, but you guys couldn't have done better. You did an amazing job, and thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Clay. Major Powers, would you please come forward and hand out those certificates? Class 22006, stand, be recognized. Heading 2, Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina, Airman First Class, Romar Bell. Ramstein Air Base, Germany, Airman First Class, Cameron Blanchard. Ramstein Air Base, Germany, Airman Jeffrey Corkin. Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho, Airman Courtney Hutchins. Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, Airman First Class, Lauren McLaughlin. Ramstein Air Base, Germany, Airman First Class, Aaron Meilinger. Saudi Arabia, Staff Sergeant Al-Jahani Saad. Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina, Airman Nicholas Guzman. Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, Airman Joshua Wittenberg. In recognition of outstanding academic achievement, we would like to announce our distinguished graduates. With an overall average of 97%, our distinguished graduate for class 22006 is Airman First Class, Meilinger.
Show off.
And in recognition of outstanding educational and professional achievement, we would like to announce our top graduate. With an overall average of 98%, our top graduate for class 22006 is Airman First Class Bell. Now we ask that Major Powers offer any closing comments and words of encouragement.
Thank you. So what an incredible academic achievement, you guys. Seriously, you have just graduated one of the longest and most challenging courses that we even offer at this space. So really let that sink in on what you just accomplished. Not only did you do that, you did that while waking up at dark 30 for PT 3 times a week. You did that while marching to and from class 30 minutes each way, the longest in the entire base. You did that while wearing those ropes. Think about all the time and commitment that you've put into earning those, that you've gone above and beyond, and now you're sitting here and you've graduated. So take a moment to really reflect on that and understand where you've come and where you're going now. So by this time, hopefully you know what it takes to make a good airman. But I have 3 pieces of advice for you on how to be a good PMEL airman as you're going to your next base. Number 1, I need you guys to be technical experts. Unfortunately, you don't have the luxury of going to your first base and just coasting into the new job, right? You need to hit the ground running, really dig into the information, know the job, become that technical expert. Because in just a few short years, you're going to be looking down at those staff sergeant stripes on your chest, especially you, right? And then you're going to have airmen underneath you that you need to grow and make those technical experts. So it's going to be incumbent upon you to really just dive in head first at your first base, all right? Which brings me to point number 2. You're not alone, okay? You weren't alone as you go through this course, right? You had help and support from your friends. We have family members in the audience who can attest to that. You have all of your peers in the other classes and classes ahead of you, your NTLs, your instructors, the other NCOs who are here for you. Everybody helps you get to this course, right? So take that spirit of camaraderie and cooperation with you to your next assignments. It can feel a little bit cutthroat in a small community, but remember, seek out mentors. Network with each other, with your peers, and most importantly, don't forget to reach back and bring up and grow the next generation of airmen behind you. All right, that's number 2. Last one, I need you guys to critically think. I'm sure Chief Blair has told you that your career field is undergoing an evolution in thought right now, away from a more black and white prescriptive kind of attitude and more towards concepts and systems thinking. That's going to require a lot of flexibility and critical thinking in the way that you approach problems. I like to say, whenever I have a big problem, I seek out a PMEL airman, because you guys can take a big problem and you can dissect it very deliberately, very methodically, you can pare it down to all of its multivariate components, and then calibrate the solution, package it back up, and then return it back to me, and you give me this wonderful solution. The only way you're going to be able to do that for your senior NCOs and your leadership is with flexibility and critical thinking. So that's all I'm going to leave you guys with. Good luck and congratulations.
Thank you, Major Powers. Lieutenant Colonel Brockler, is there anything you would like to say before we close the ceremony?
Hey, I'm gonna keep this short, cause y'all been at Keesler long enough, right? Especially you, and the Air Force, but hey, I was gonna, my front office knows that I like to, joke sometimes, and I'm a little bit of a prankster, not in public, not in large groups, but, it's a little bit of personality behind the professional image, and while I'm sitting there, I had this thought, I'm not gonna do this, but I wanted you to know that I was thinking about just saying, you know, the Air Force came down with the new quotas for PMEL, and we need one less person. We have to reclass that person in the fire protection and shepherd. Congratulations, Aaron Blanchard. But I was like, no, this won't work. So I just tell him I was thinking about it, and they didn't go through with it. So I won't forget Aaron Blanchard. But I have one quick thing is my one piece of advice for you all is, no matter where you are, whether you're in the Air Force or you're at PMEL, or if you cross-trained somewhere else into another career field, or wherever you land, and this is a life tip, hack, is always make your surrounding area and people in your inner circle better than how you found them. How can you improve your area, whether it's walking down the street or getting on a bus somewhere, or on a plane, or waiting in line somewhere, or even being at a family reunion, or maybe even a military reunion, or even at your first assignment. It doesn't matter where you are every moment. If you make that trail better than where it was before you showed up, you will all do great things. And I do want to get a class photo of all of you wearing your ropes. Is this a first?
Yeah.
This is a first for us, having an entire class of leaders. Holy smokes. You get slam dunk, huh? But I want to call Airman Hutchins up here. You're not leaving him without some coinage here, because Airman Hutchins, you know, Chief Blair was a red rope. You're a red rope. You're following in his footsteps. So you're going to be the next career field manager someday. Congratulations. No. You don't have to be, but I'm saying is, you know, I thank you personally for the leadership that you've stepped up for. I won't forget you because of you were holding the guy down at the change of command, and we practiced the heck out of that. And the whole 335th Training Squadron was calibrated that day. I had Major Powers and Senior Master Sergeant Roundtree making sure that all the guys went up at the same time from the, because we were sweating out there. Not complaining at all about it. We're just gonna do it, right? We're gonna do it awesome. So anyway, you led your peers. Not only that, but you survived PMEL, of course, the warm or cold classrooms of Wolf Hall, depending on which one you're in. and now you're heading out to your first assignment. So you're getting off on the right foot. The Air Force likes you. Hopefully the feeling is mutual. All right? Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Broadway. These airmen will leave here to become part of the operational Air Force. They have been empowered to aim high,
Fly, fight, win.
With the discipline they acquired in basic training, knowledge gained in the PMEL course, and a strong belief in our core values, they will succeed. To close our ceremony, it has become tradition to reflect our mission and our commitment by reciting the Airman's Creed. Class, please come forward and lead us in the Airman's Creed to commemorate your accomplishments and recognize the journey ahead.